Hello everyone, NoctemZero here, and today I went and saw, as you can see, Justice League. I gotta say, what a film. I went in with the lowest expectations possible, because of everything I've heard, even from a buddy of mine, Robert, who he's pretty critical about his movies. I mean, we clash a lot, but we agreed on some things. And from the things I've heard about Justice League, yeah, I can see how terrible it probably could have been, but after watching it, I just I didn't really see anything wrong with it. Maybe with a few things that they chose, like the damn stash hiding thing that they did with Henry Cavill. I thought that was dumb. But the thing is, I've noticed it was only really in two scenes, not in the entire film. Like he said, it was only two scenes. The beginning shot, which seemed like something they just threw in, it was awful to look at. But I mean, I knew why they did it. Um, but of course, there were things that in the film that, like, such as just the chemistry between the characters, it just really ran well. Now, first and foremost, I really did enjoy this film. Is it the best comic movie I've ever seen? No, but it is up there. The reason why I say that is that it's not the end all be all. It still sets everything up. Despite the fact that it's Justice League, it shows that the stories can be told. If you watch it all the way through and you watch the how Lois Lane is monologuing at the end of it, oh yeah, spoilers. um, you'll see like why this movie has to exist for these characters to keep going the way they're going. Um, so yeah, first off, I want to say I like the way the movie started. It showed a kid using his phone to record Superman, um, and then it cuts, and then we go to Gotham, and Batman is pretty much apprehending a criminal, but from I can't. They don't really tell you whether or not he was actually apprehending a criminal or if he was using the guy as bait. I mean, it's not really stated. And then it cuts to what is it? Looks like a bombing, and Wonder Woman saves the day. Now everyone complained about this kind of pacing, about this kind of where they're shooting it, but I mean, a lot of people that I've noticed who review this aren't really comic book readers. But then there's Robert who has, and he said the movie just felt like it was all over the place. But I feel like he's more of a moviegoer than anything else. So as a movie, he feels like it should be as a movie. As a guy who reads comics and stuff, it the pacing felt like I was reading a comic, where something's happening in one section of the comic, turn the page, you're in a completely different setting if it's not following that character. It ends right there, then moves on, then we got to get introduced to other things, other characters. They have to start building up that kind of role. And when I saw that, I'm like, okay, now I understand why people are pissed about this whole pacing thing, is because it's like a comic book. They went to that extra mile to make it more like a comic book than any other medium right now, and it was pretty much a comic book movie, like right down to the fact that the way they kept jumping between panels and whatnot. Now I'm pretty sure everyone's thinking, I'm being biased about it because I am a DC fan first over Marvel and all that stuff, but honestly, I prefer this over Thor Ragnarok. I just could not stand Thor Ragnarok. Um, I mean, I enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. I thought it was fun, but I didn't like that it was a comedy first. I mean, they could have made the situations a bit more serious, but even like in Civil War, when things got dire, they still joked around, and it just was dumb. While this movie, I feel like the comedy fell a little bit better. It wasn't as heavy as any other comic book movie that's out there. It felt balanced. It felt right. Things that I've heard people complain about, like the Flash saying he was too goofy, too like he was like the kid of the group. I'm like, well, look at it. He is the kid of the group. And at the same time, I mean, they're saying, oh, he should already be a part of the police department. Wanna? No, I mean, and I like the fact that he's just getting out of college and all that stuff. That's what it seems like anyway. And he's trying to help his father. I mean, I like that they're doing that little bit of dynamic right there. Even that little moment with Henry Allen and Barry Allen, you could tell that there's something there. There's a story there. What else can I talk about? I liked how they introduced Aquaman. He pretty much is like the rock star ruffian of the group. Really didn't give a crap. Just wants to run alone, and that's fine. Cyborg I thought was the most interesting. I didn't like a lot of my friends especially, just did not expect Cyborg to be an interesting character, and to reassure everybody, if you haven't already seen it and you just don't care about spoilers, he does say "booyah," and that was nice that he said "booyah." Not in the way that I was hoping, but he still said it. And okay, to go back to talk about the Flash, the way I see it with the Flash is that he's still learning his powers. Although he pretty much knew about the Speed Force early on, he gave us the abridged version to Batman about his abilities and whatnot, and they showed pretty much that he does get hungry pretty quickly. Because of his metabolism. But I thought that was pretty cool that they at least established the Speed Force. But he still doesn't know too much about it. And another thing is that I feel like the way he is right now, it would show Thawne or Reverse Flash's anger to him to make a lot more sense. Because the way everyone sees him as this goofy character, this funny, loving character that you would just want to be around, Thawne would look at him and think, how is this guy a legendary hero in my time? And it would just piss off Thawne more because he just doesn't understand how people could worship the Flash in the future. It's just hilarious that's how I'm hoping it'll go. I really want this movie to do well. Okay, Superman. Everyone said this movie was all about Superman. I watched it and I'm like, it didn't seem like it was all about him the entirety of the time. It only came to the point when they settled down and were having the argument of whether they should bring Superman back or not. It made it to me. It harkened back to when watching the Avengers for the first time, and how the Avengers were more or less trying to figure out how to be a team, and they just didn't know how to do it yet. Aquaman still indecisive. The Flash more or less excited, but at the same time not really sure how he fits because he's never done anything like this before. He's only ever caught purse snatchers and people robbing a convenience store or bank robbery, that nothing major. So Barry's more or less just rolling with it. Batman obviously is getting old, and he's just like he's old and tired. And I find it funny how Diana says you can't do this forever, and all that stuff. And I forget what he said, but it made me think, yeah, that's pretty much how Ben Affleck feels about the whole situation where he can't be Batman forever and all that stuff, which, I feel like that line was thrown in there more intentionally than it should have been. Now to talk about the villain Steppenwolf. Everyone kept saying, oh, he's such an underwhelming villain. Oh my god, he's not that great. Are you idiots blind? Do you guys not remember Ronan from Guardians of the Galaxy? If you put Ronan and Steppenwolf in the same damn room, they're pretty much the same damn character, wielding an oversized weapon, wanting to be better than the person that they're... Now, granted, from what I heard, the Zack Snyder cut was supposed to be where not Ronan. See, that's how confused I am about that crap. How Steppenwolf wants to overthrow Darkseid and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure they just wanted to do, they separated that part of the script because they didn't want it to be too similar to Guardians of the Galaxy's Ronan, and honestly, I could see that being why they didn't want that kind of comparison. But still, Steppenwolf is not meant to be this end-all be-all villain. In the end, now anyone on Earth who tried to fight him, just an Earthling, would have a hard time. I mean, when you're watching the movie, Aquaman's having a hard time fighting him. Wonder Woman could keep up, but she's still not being able to hurt him. The moment Superman shows up, Steppenwolf can't even land a punch on him. He's just he tries and he fails miserably. Superman just even says, "Is this guy still giving you trouble?" And then bam, just a couple of punches and he's out. And that's actually what I liked about it. They even showed Superman's freeze breath, which he hadn't even used before in any of the films, if I recall. And it was just cool. Especially when they brought Superman back to life, and when when Barry tried to go around him, how Superman was able to see him running at that speed. It surprised Barry because clearly he hadn't encountered anyone else who was comparable with his speed. So that means characters like the Reverse Flash, Zoom, and all that have not encountered Barry yet. So Barry's still in his early days of crime fighting, which is awesome. That means that they can flesh him out more. Cyborg is still in his early days of dealing with his new abilities and whatnot, but still he's working with his father eventually. And I just think the casting is just well done. The story was well, and even the way they ended it with Lois Lane's monologue, how she was talking about the different heroes and all that stuff, and how they're finally coming out into the light. It's still early, but the Justice League have arrived, and they're here to stay. I hope they're here to stay. I want to see more of these characters. I will say that there are two credit scenes at the end. One where Barry and Superman challenge each other to a race, which honestly, I would love to see a Superman Flash team up movie. That would be amazing. And then the other is that they show Lex Luthor had escaped Arkham Asylum, as well as Deathstroke apparently helping him, and them wanting to form either the Injustice League, which I really hope they don't go with that name, or go with the more fan wanting one, or fan choice, the Legion of Doom. And we want to see the Legion of Doom go against the Justice League. The way I see it, a second film and then they try to bring in Darkseid would not make any sense right away. But Steppenwolf losing, honestly, that's not even the full might of Darkseid's forces. And that's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, it's so underwhelming. I'm like, dude, Steppenwolf can't even hold a candle to what Darkseid could bring to the table. And the fact is, he still has the Furies, Calabac, and probably a whole other slew of monsters that I'm forgetting at the moment. But the whole point is that Apocalypse isn't done, but I want to see the Legion of Doom going against the Justice League first. Anyway, I think this movie was awesome. It definitely deserves a watch. It definitely deserves more than one viewing. It's definitely worth buying on Blu-ray. The pacing may have been a little too quick. The movie felt a little too short, but I'm hoping that they release an extended cut down the road. Anyway, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.